And good night, and welcome to our Wednesday night edition of Sports Lifeline here on the ACB Caribbean Parish League Network. I'm here with my other hosts. Good evening, Arlene.
Good evening, Flipper. How are you?
I'm good. And how was your day?
Well, I finally got a little rest today.
Oh, you rested today.
Yeah, because
so
I'm off today.
You're going to be lively and bubbly tonight.
Yes.
That's great. We're going to start with some football news. I know a lot of people are saying Garden Stars, but the team from Liberta, I will say, Garden Stars, they're 3-0.
Yeah, that's good.
They beat Villa 3-1.
3-1.
Yes, and so they're up there with the big Grenades. 3-0. They're 9 points from 3 games, but you know Grenades have a 19 plus goal difference. But Garden Stars is doing well. You know, I believe that they should finish somewhere amongst the leaders when the first round is finished. When I look in the table, I believe that they can hold their own. You know, never know. They may be the second Liberty team to win the Premier Division.
You never know.
I think the Blackhawks have won the Premier Division some 3 times. The last being 2018, 2019. And then you guys in the Football Association decided that you were going to put a sport in.
You guys?
You were part of the Football Association at some point or the other, ain't it? Former executive member. They say once a president, always a president.
But sometimes they sit on an executive and their decision maker and you don't know.
Well, you are a part of the executive, so you're a part of the decision.
So what spoke they put in the
Well, you know, sometimes they had the issue with the insurance. And so nobody was clear about what was going to happen with the insurance if the players were to get
think
injured.
I was already out.
Right. And so we said to them, look, we cannot play until we know how the insurance is going to work. And so they refused to respond. So the first game, we were speaking with our lawyers, and the lawyer said, look, you shouldn't let the players play, because if they get themselves injured, they can take the club to court because you were the ones, you understand? So we didn't play the first game, we didn't play the second game. Our lawyers met, and we wrote to the Football Association saying, explaining what we understood of the document they sent out about the insurance, that if a player gets injured, the club will pay for whatever medical expenses up front, and then the club will in a timely manner refund all 100% of the expenses. They didn't respond, so our lawyer says, look, that is a yes. In court, if somebody write to you and say this is what they understand and you don't respond, it means that they agree with you. So he said to us, okay, fine, so you can play now that you're clear. Lo and behold, when the day came for us to play, a late message came in that they postponed our match.
I wasn't there.
And so they said we have to meet some disciplinary committee. But we got inside source from members of the executive that there was no disciplinary committee. They brought this guy some fake names. We asked them for them, this guy, Christian or Christopher.
Christopher.
Yeah, this corrupt individual. And they tried to say yes, they met and they have to. And so our lawyer was there. And so our lawyer said, well, they need to see the minutes when they have to suggest that they form this disciplinary committee and they couldn't produce the minutes. So the general secretary said he's going to the office and come back. And he was there. We were there for about half an hour.
I never come
No.
back.
And so our lawyer said, well, until you can provide us with this situation. And the thing went on and on and on and on and on. And eventually, every time we were supposed to play, they said, we can't play until the disciplinary committee meets us.
Yeah, but what has come of that decision with you losing like what? How much points?
Well, that is what they said. That was the decision the disciplinary commission took. They said that we were going to lose 12 points, and so we started with like minus 12 or so. So all our players left because they weren't allowing us to play. So all of our players left. Most of them went to Garden Stars and so on. So we then were playing with schoolboys in the Premier Division. Got a walloping, went to First Division, and so we're now just rebuilding, trying to.
Yeah, but nothing. Blackhawks never do nothing because they said there was no minutes.
No, there was. Well, you see, the thing about it is that it was going to be difficult to go forward with the situation because what they actually did as well, we were probably behind with our with filing our financials, and so I know that they were involved because one of the gentlemen who is involved with the Football Association is very much involved with intellectual property, and so they had them remove us off the books, so we weren't a legal entity anymore, so we couldn't take anybody to court.
Wow.
So it was deep, Arlene. It was vindictive. It was very deep. And so they sort of put a spoke in our wheel in terms of taking the matter further.
Before we get any further, former sponsor Asset Michael condolences to the Param football because he was once a sponsor of that team for a long
Well,
while.
I'm not looking at him as a sponsor. I'm looking at him as an individual who had a very huge impact in terms of football in particular, and in terms of his contributions in Antigua and Barbuda. And just like you, I would say condolences to
I think he
to the
sponsored
family
Hoppers a while too.
for some time.
Yeah, so condolences to the Michael family on the passing of Mr. Asset Michael. Sad, but let the
Sad but real.
police, let the
Yes.
police do.
I think it is something
their
that we
work.
all have to
Yep.
accept. Yeah, so that is where we are with that. The players left. Most of them went to Garden Stars. Nobody wants to build. Everybody wants it ready-made. And so there was no loyalty
But
in
it
terms
happens
of,
in all
you know,
sports.
the
Flipper.
players stay with us. I can remember back in our time, Arlene, I wouldn't leave Liberty to go and play for no one else once Liberty have a team. And you didn't see a lot of guys moving around, but the whole thing has changed. People move for different reasons. People move if they don't get a game because they didn't turn up to train.
true.
And coaches now have no standards and hold up no standards. Once you're fairly okay and you want to come. I don't care if it's manners and discipline you don't have why you want to leave your other team. I don't care. Just come. Bring yourself here and come. I don't care if you don't have any good behavior.
Because everybody is about winning, and even in there's some coaches love ready down players as well.
That is true.
So you can't blame the players alone because again they're coaches that just want to win and they're players that just want to be on a winning team.
A lot of the things is bragging rights. And when you look at it, Arlene, and you ask, bragging rights for what? I'm sure you remember last year, All Saints United won, and probably Grenades came second. I'm sure you don't remember who come third, fourth, fifth, or sixth. Those things really and truly, once the season is completed, most of the times are irrelevant. And so I don't understand why people don't want to develop something that it can be long-term and sustainable, in terms of that. In a situation like this, the Football Association needs to put something in place if you're going to continue to develop and to hold the quality, that if you get relegated, you have to play with that team for at least a year.
Because you're relegated playing with the team.
Yes. So what will happen is that every time a team gets relegated down to First Division, it breaks up because all the half-decent players find a Premier team and they go and play with them.
But
So
can
that-
they put something in place for that? Because after the season, you're a free agent. Is that so?
The thing I'm saying is that you're saying that, but I am saying to you, the Football Association can put in their regulations, once you are relegated with a team, you have to play with them for one season.
I'm with you with that.
Simple as that. And that will help to keep some teams strong. Because what happens is that the first division, as it stands right now, isn't very strong because none of the players, I think, of note. I know Peter Byers is still playing with SAP. He's not going anywhere. But most of the other players, once the team comes down, they find a team or somebody come and give them an offer to come and play Premier Division. And so you find that there is, not that sort of first division at one time was as strong as the Premier Division. Almost as strong. Where you find teams that can go up to Premier Division and compete. Nowadays, you see a team go up to Premier Division and it's going to be a matter of time before they're coming back down. And we need to change that. So we have to find a balance somewhere where the players that come down with that team, if you don't want to come down with that team, when it is halfway or when it is January, because January the season is beginning, then you get your transfer. And nobody can say that you come down. But when the team is relegated, you're on their roster, you have to play with them for.
Sure. If the referees get their payment yet?
Well, the referees are out. They are there. I know that the 2 games that I saw at Liberta, they came really late. I don't know if that's a sign of protest, but as a matter of fact, the second game was cut short because of light.
Wow.
And
yeah, but
well, Arlene, these people don't stand for anything. They can get sweet talk and promises and everything that make them.
Yeah, because there's some referees that want to stand up, and there's some that, it's people in general. Some will stand up and some won't. But at the end of the day, when the benefit is reaped, everybody, and I have a problem with
Well, for me, Arlene, the referees who want to stand up, they don't have any excuses. If you want to stand up, stand up. Because we don't have a lot. I don't think we have enough, really, referees in Antigua and Barbuda to run the 3 divisions. People get overworked. And so, if the referees want to stand up, they have a right to stand up. They have a right to stand up and say, we are not going to do any games, and let those who want to play, who want to referee, let them do all the games.
So what about those who are the FIFA referees? Okay, maybe they think if they sit out, it might hamper.
Sometimes in life, for the betterment, Arlene, we have to make sacrifices.
True.
We have to make sacrifices. And if we're going to say, because I'm on the FIFA list, I'm going to let the referee, the Antigua and Barbuda Football Association knock me about, then that is tough. That is sad. So, I believe that the referees who wants to play, who wants to referee, they're weak. They are weak because you will see this will continue to happen. The ABFA will know, look, once we give them a little bit, they're going to play. They're going to continue to do that. But you ask me if the people on ABFA, when time comes for them to be paid, do you think that they hold on? No, they want their money up front. They want their money up front. And so why should the referees be owed from last season and not be paid before the season starts?
Not even the referees, because, again, I was approached Independence Day. I haven't been paid for so long since the game was playing in ARG. Like, How long games not playing in ARG Flipper?
What?
Whoever works for, whoever handles the gate.
I think the last time football was played in the recreation grounds was just before COVID,
That's what, 2021.
2019.
And this young lady keep on crying
Is she a
for
referee?
money. No, she used to work with at the gate, dressing room. What do you call?
And like an attendant,
Right.
and she have not been paid.
She has not
But
been
is she
paid.
still working?
No, she's not.
Oh, so she's one that they decide that they're not. And what is she doing about it?
She meeting executive, but I told her I'm not an executive member no more. Take a walk or take a drive up to the technical center and go straight to the general secretary or the acting president now, whoever is responsible for that part of that department, because I think is Jeffrey who is responsible for that part, where you get
My cousin Jeffrey.
I guess.
Anyway, enough of the social Arlene. We were going to be joined by our guest, but unfortunately he said he cannot make it. But he was supposed to join us by Zoom. So let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that our guest, join us shortly on Zoom. But in the meantime, we wanted to look at, the ministry of sports. Obviously, there's a setup. There's a minister of sports. There's a permanent secretary of sports. There's a director of sports, and then there's certain technicians working in the ministry of sports to make up that ministry of sports. They do have a budget. They do have responsibilities. We were going to ask around to see if we can come up with the function of what it should be. We can look at what they do here in Antigua and Barbuda, and we can look at what we think.
What they should do, what they should be doing.
They should do. Obviously, you probably did some research, so we will see what is it that you came up with.
Well, in Antigua, the Ministry of Sports should be responsible for developing the athletes.
When you say developing the athletes,
They have to identify their talent. They are there to identify.
I agree with you.
Yeah, to identify.
Because
their
I think
talent.
physical education teachers should be incorporating in the schools a talent identification program. So they will know from a very early age which boy or girl, have good hand-eye coordination, who can throw, who can bowl, who can jump, who can shoot, who can run fast, and that's all. And they will be able to then make recommendations to the coaches.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
that first one, I certainly am on board with
And
that.
they are also they're there to support the organizations and athletes in whatever way they can. What says you on that? Yeah, so I think that's my research indicated that, they're supposed to really identify the talents of the athletes, support all the organizations in whatever way they can. Both organizations and athletes.
So you're thinking that they should lend support to the associations.
Yeah, so remember when we were here on Wednesday, you said president need to meet with who I think they should meet with? The ministry.
Right. And obviously all of the associations would probably have some issues,
Some sort of
some
issue.
plans, anything else?
Also, they are supposed to, to regulate. You understand? They're supposed to be the one that regulate the sports, especially all those who are participating in the sport.
So, do you mean like be like a sort of a sort of overseer,
Overlooking, yeah,
to make sure that the associations
is
are
doing
running fair
exactly.
and doing what their constitution. But the thing about it is that is that happening, Ali?
No, it's not.
Because we see a lot of irregularities, and nobody really and truly say or do
Yeah,
anything to
because
these
I
associations.
don't remember being a part of any association. I never see nobody from the ministry comes in to find out if, this has been done. I don't know if it's done one-on-one, but as an executive, like someone comes and from the ministry come in and meet with the executive itself. And sometimes, well, I can remember netball had someone sits on the executive that works in the ministry. I can remember that.
But were they appointed by the ministry or they happened to work at the
No,
ministry?
they weren't appointed. They were elected as an executive member.
Or is it that they just happen to work at the ministry?
I won't say that, but because they are a player, they're a strong netball player. So I think they were invited to be a part of the executive because former national player.
Right, but it wasn't come and sit on executive so you can represent the Ministry of Sports.
No.
So then we can't say that the Ministry of Sports was represented.
No, I did not say that.
Right.
I said that it's
Someone
just
that
that
works
someone that was in the ministry
Right.
sits on the executive at
But
one point.
how many associations have you served on?
Netball, basketball, and I sit on Braves basketball executive
Right. Okay, but you were on the football, basketball.
and netball.
Football,
three
basketball, netball, three. Have anyone of this association at any time, whether the president or the secretary said, we were invited, or I was invited by the Ministry of Sports to come in and have a talk, or
No, I can remember. What I can remember, we set up a meeting to meet with the Minister of Sport,
who is we?
netball,
Right.
for the fact that we were hosting a tournament.
But it wasn't because you had issues and you wanted him to look into them. It was just because you were hosting.
Yeah,
you
and
were-
hosting, there were issues hosting. so-
Well, more or less, you were looking for the ministry's assistance
exactly.
in hosting a netball tournament.
See what way, how they can assist us.
The thing about it is that some night ago we had a talk about the National Sports Award, and we know there's always complaint from the Ministry of Sports that the associations are not submitting. They're not submitting the names for the athletes, and I was asking why is that, but I think I know what the answer is.
And what is that answer?
The thing about it is that the Ministry of Sports only get in touch with these associations.
When it's time for the award.
So, and the award is all about the people at the Ministry of Sports. But anyway, we will continue on that. Hopefully we can get our guest to call in on Zoom. But we'll take a break and we'll be right back. So don't go anywhere. Make sure you stay in tune.
Our goal is to help her to walk again. Come out and support us at the Pickett's Playing Field on December 29th, 2024 from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. in aid for my mom, Gwendolyn Joseph Gums, who requires a prosthetic leg. Get your tickets now for $25. There will be family fun games, so bring out your family, bring out your friends, bring out your neighbors. There will be live entertainment by Jokey Dan, Dior, The General, Lyrical Reds, Hell's Gate Point Iron Band, and much more. Once again, come out and support. Let's have some fun. Let's have fun while supporting a worthy cause. Salute to everybody, and thank you in advance.
And we're back. We're back. We're still waiting on our guest. He should be calling us on Zoom anytime. I hope you remember I just sent him a message. But Arlene, when we went to the break, we were looking at what happens and how the associations look at it. They're thinking, listen, the Ministry of Sports don't really care about our competitions, our associations, our players. There's no support, there's no interest whatsoever shown over the last year or so. But whenever they want to have their award ceremony where all of them can dress up and big up themselves and show themselves, they keep putting us under the stress. Oh, please submit your names. That is all we're good for. I know some of the associations say that. That is all we are good for, submitting names so you can pretend that you're doing so much for sports. And so most of them just don't bother. And it may not be right because at the end of the day, it is the athletes who would want to go up and happy to showcase, what they have achieved over the year. But on the other hand, the ministry cannot continue to function like that, because one of the things that you came up with, Arlene, is support. That they should be supporting and regulating the sports, making sure that they're playing everybody have an equal opportunity, and that there's no favoritism or one-sidedness from these associations when it comes to athletes and the sports. Now, you have read some things. You have anything else?
No, basically that.
Right. You have read some things there that you did some research and you found that the Ministry of Sports should be taking up. Now, if the Ministry of Sports is taking up those tasks, then what is it that the associations should be doing? Because we're looking to see how we can share the work between the national associations and the Ministry of Sports to see if we can get the best practices together from both of them so that sports can propel forward. What is it then that you think? Because you said that you served on 3 associations. So any one of them, you can just look back and see what were they doing, what was their responsibilities as associations.
Developing players was one of them. Because again, basketball had a development league. Even netball have a development league. Well, we call it a youth league in netball, where we have like the younger players play real early. They don't really play the same time with the older players. And the same thing with basketball. Basketball had a development league. I can remember it was just for all young players. So yeah, we were doing what we have to do. We did not wait on the ministry to do that.
The associations, though, a lot of them, I believe, because of the fact that there is not a lot of support, like you said, from the ministry, they sort of do their own thing. They do their schedule. But is it something that you believe the Ministry of Sports should police as to when sports are being played? Because we are in a small country, and a lot of the facilities, especially when we speak to cricket and to football, they use the same facilities. Netball probably have their own, basketball probably have their own, volleyball probably have their own. But in terms of full participation and for the best in terms of support, do you think the ministry should sit down with the associations and plan a period when these associations put on their local competitions?
Yeah, I think so. Because just the other night there was a volleyball tournament was here, and then you have business league basketball playing. So it was volleyball had guests here, right? And I think all sports should support whenever there's a tournament here. All the sports should give support to that association that's hosting a tournament.
I think that on the last week Thursday, West Indies played England at its Vividge Stadium. It was a game that was started at 2 p.m. But the football scheduled its first division matches. Now, one may argue, Arlene, and you can tell me, one may argue that, listen, why should we stop our sports? Because there is no guarantee that players are going to go and support. So that can be an argument, because we used to see that as well, that whenever there were regional matches here in Antigua, the Antigua and Barbuda Cricket Association used to postpone the cricket matches. And when you go to the stadium, you hardly see any of the local players supporting. So the question is, you can't force people to go and support. So should you postpone your matches just because there's a game here? Or should you say, listen, everybody is not going to go. But those who are not playing, if they want to, they can go. They can go and support.
Again, as you rightfully say, you can't support. You can't force people to go. But once there's an international tournament, I think personally, all other local leagues should be postponed. That's my.
I sort of want to think out of respect, but the thing about it is that when people don't go, they don't get to play, and they're not going to go to watch or to support. I just believe that it's a thin line. I would like to hear some more opinion on this, what they're thinking, because at the end of the day, if you have in a netball league, you want the cricketers to come and support. You want this association to come and support. And if you're having a football match up at the technical center,
match,
you would want all the people who are playing tape ball at night to come and support,
yeah.
and you would want the cricketers to come and support. And it is something that, again, and this is something that we spoke about, the presidents need to have a round table, because that is something that could go on the table and say, look, even if you don't postpone all the games,
at least one.
You should at least maybe a percentage of the games are postponed. So if people wants to go, and then the association themselves could say to clubs, if you want to go and support, we can postpone your game. They may say, no, we're going to play. The other team might say, no, we want to play too, so you play that game because. But then, what about if the referees want to go and support? Then, what do you do?
Because there won't be no referee to referee. If they want to go and support an international game, they have to call it, because it's the referees who, without no referees, no game can go on, right?
That is true. That is true. But at the end of the day, the associations need to find some common ground in terms of the type of game, and if you believe, because the other thing is, what if people want to play, want to go, but they have been forced to play? So all of these things needs to look at and see. So when the man want to go cricket, the cricket is Saturday, so we can maybe postpone the game, start them a little earlier, see if they can finish on time. The game is at 3:00.
But Philippa, to even say more, I can remember when they were having even the sports award. There was a footballer that was nominated, a coach that was nominated, and when the name were called, they weren't there because they had a game.
Oh.
Now we're having a national sport award. Shouldn't all local games be cancelled? So the nominees, again, because I was there, when I hear the names called for the footballer, the coach, and when the coach do walk in, his name already called. And I find that was out of order.
See, again, here we're having a ministry event, a Ministry of Sports event, national award ceremony. And some of the nominees are actually playing football. So, for one, the Football Association show no regard for the awards. And the ministry probably did not say, listen, we would like the games be postponed for one day.
And that's the role of the ministry. We're having a national sports award, so all sports should be ceased
until after.
Until after the award ceremony is
Because,
finished.
well, it is only one night. So it will be
Exactly.
one game.
And
you know?
it was so distasteful that you're calling names. And that's another thing. You're calling names and nobody is there to collect the award. They don't even send a representative. You understand? And it looks real distasteful, unprofessional to me.
Well, at the end of the day, I believe that you would probably hear words being dropped. All these guys know that they were awarded, they were put up, you know, they were nominated and they didn't turn up. But nobody will probably check to see. Listen, you schedule our team to play. We are part of the management team. I play, so I can't come to the award ceremony until the game is finished. And maybe nobody questioned it or even had a post-mortem afterwards to say, hey, these are some of the problems we've been having. People have been coming too late. What is causing them to come too late? Some people don't come. And reach out to these people and ask them for reasons, and then you could probably come up with the solution as to, look, these guys came late because they had matches on the day, so we're going to ask the association if they could, you know, play earlier matches and cut off by particular time so people can go to the function.
No game's supposed to play when you're having, the ministry is having an award. All national sports supposed to cease. ALL, all, nobody's supposed to be having no sort of game playing when we're having a national award.
Because I don't think one day is going to throw us that far out.
Yeah, just one day.
That is something to contemplate.
Or if they want to play, if they don't want, they think it's going to mess up this game. Well, play the game early.
And
Play a hot sun game, and then they can go home and get ready.
but what
for the
if
sports
what
award.
if the award ceremonies is happening at 7 on a Wednesday? People do work on a Wednesday, so they probably won't be able to be available to play the early game because they have to work. That is why the ABFA have set the matches. At one time they were 4:20. Now they have them at 4:30, which I think is a bit late, especially this time of the year when the sun sort of goes down a little earlier.
Again, Flipper, I'm going to say it again. No sports should be played then. It's the Ministry of Sports honoring the athletes for the year and the hard work that they have done. So, all sports, and then I'm going to knock the ministry here now. All of a sudden, they stop doing the dinner thing for the athlete that works so hard, and you just present them with an award, and then that's it.
So Ali, maybe that's why people are not going then, because they're not getting anything to eat. You think?
I don't know. I don't know if because they're not getting nothing to eat. They just change up the whole dynamics of the sports award, because before it was done in a black tie affair, dinner style. And I think that is the way it should go to honor these athletes. It's all about the athletes. It's not about me that work in the ministry. It's those athletes that go out morning, noon, and night practicing, then go achieve whatever they're achieving to be awarded and honor with a nice, you understand? And it's sad.
And speaking about that, honoring and so forth, how is your award coming on? Give us what is
Well,
happening
I'm
so
supposed
far
to be at the meeting tonight because I'm the chairperson of that.
well, seeing as you're here, give us a
And,
little rundown
well, the
of
tickets,
how it's happening.
the tickets are ready for one. So Flipper, I have some tickets for you. you can even help me sell some in your community, because again, this is a task that I think I know it will come off excellent, because we are honoring players before my time that I don't even know that are still alive. And I'm so happy that I was thrown in the ring to be that chairperson to get stuff ready for the 7th of December. And things are coming on real good. And it's a black tie affair. Dinner style. Those are the things I like. Give people their flowers when they can see it, not when they're dead. I don't take wreaths to funeral because they can't see it. I give it to them before their eyes are closed. So everything is coming on good right now. There's a meeting going on where I'm supposed to, but I got some of the bios already. Still waiting on your guy.
Who is my guy?
I can't remember the name right
Okay,
now.
I'll call Tony. Is it Rexford James?
I think that's the name. I think. I'm not 100% sure.
Because I think they were looking at probably the oldest player alive from Liberta.
Yeah.
So it would either be Rexford James or Cottrell George. Who is it that should provide the bio?
I think it's Mr. Roberts.
Oh, it is Denmore.
Denmore should get to that, because what we do, we try to get those that are nominated and people within
the community.
In the community that knows these people will go to them, because for me, I know Veron.
Right.
So, but I would go to Veron, but I don't know your guy, so like...
It's not my guy. You don't know the guy who you're awarding from Liberta.
So, but it's coming on fairly well. Last week when I wasn't here, I was at the meeting.
And you've already found your pig farmer?
My pig farmer.
You don't say you're going to have pork on the menu?
Everything is already sorted out.
Okay, no, so that's why I know a couple of pig farmers that I'm sure they'd be glad to get some business,
Well, you have to say it like that. Pig is not the only thing on
No,
our
well, the
menu.
thing about it
so
is
why you bring out that
because
one
I
first?
know if you're going to have fish, you will organize with a fisherman. You go to the market and get fish.
Everything, the food part is fully organized.
The food part is okay.
It's just to get the ticket sold and have the place packed.
So, are you inviting the executive of the Football Association?
Not the executive. We have to invite somebody from the Football Association.
Why you have to? Are they assisting?
I can't answer that right now, because you have people that is delegated to do certain things.
Okay.
Right? So I don't take on the task alone. One thing with me, I like delegation. I don't like all the work to be on myself alone.
The other thing is that, will you be inviting the Minister of Sports?
Yeah, of course. We have to invite somebody from the ministry. We have to invite somebody from NOC.
No, but you say you're inviting someone from the ministry. It doesn't have to be the minister.
It doesn't have to be the minister.
You can invite.
Because maybe the minister might not be here. Maybe the minister, because when we
you can invite
when
the
we
director.
had our anniversary, our first anniversary for the past football players, the minister could not come, but he sent someone, which was Colin James, who came and gave a speech. So we're not leaving out nobody.
No, it's not a matter of leaving out. It's just I'm just trying to see how wide.
No,
Because
we're
at the
doing
end of the
it.
day, this is a.
Jingle your keys and get in gear with a car loan from ACB. Drive away with a loan that fits you. Get up to 100% financing and 10 years to repay on a new or used car. Plus, get a pre-approved credit card. So rev up and get in gear with a Simply Smarter car loan. Call or
Don't make it be an issue. I'm.
When the body meet, we don't have one person make that decision. So when we meet, because again, they say I'm controversial, but I'm not. I'm not controversial. I just talk the way
You
the
are
things
controversial, but Arlene, I want to say this. Controversial is good, you know. Most of the times people call you controversial is because you probably have a mind of your own and you can think outside the box. You're thinking something different, maybe that can be better, you know, towards whatever you're discussing. And because you're not singing the same tune everybody else is singing, even though you have good reason, they call you controversial. So controversial is good.
Yeah, because Flipper, I don't see you calling me to assist someone in your community, and when we are having fundraisers and we send tickets to you, nobody at all want none. And then when someone needs that support, you're coming, I'm gonna say no. And people think I'm heartless.
So why you say no? Because you're
Because-
not doing it for the individual. You're doing it for someone who needs the help, not for the people who didn't help raise the funds. Because you see, at the end of the day, the people who you're assisting probably people who can't help themselves. So
Agree.
we can just say that some of the people in the community who are still well and able and don't want to come and support and give a helping hand, they're selfish. And what they don't understand, today it's me,
And tomorrow,
tomorrow it might be them. They may be the ones with some injuries or have a hardship, and they may want to turn to the same body to assist. And then you're going to look at it hard and say, Chief, look, listen, you were never a supporter, so we think that we want to lend use our skills, resources to the people who really assisted us, you know, in
And you're gonna need money. So
You
if you're doing a fundraiser, is the money that we're collecting from you is gonna go back to maybe you, someone for you. You understand? Without the money, we can't assist.
we will have a look at some other things that maybe, and because I gave it some thought, that the body can do. But we'll take a break and then we'll come right back. So don't go anywhere.
jingle your keys and get in gear with a car loan from ACB. Drive away with a loan that fits you. Get up to 100% financing and 10 years to repay on a new or used car. Plus, get a
Our
pre-approved
goal
credit
is
card.
to
So
help
rev
her
up
to
and
walk
get in.
again. Come out and support us at the Pickett's Playing Field on December 29th, 2024 from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. in aid for my mom, Gwendolyn Joseph Gums, who requires a prosthetic leg. Get your tickets now for $25. There will be family fun games, so bring out your family, bring out your friends, bring out your neighbors. There will be live entertainment by Juki Dan, Dior, The General, Lyrical Reds, Hell's Gate, Point Iron Band, and much more. Once again, come out and support. Let's have some fun. Let's have fun while supporting a worthy cause. Salute to everybody, and thank you in advance.
And we're back. The past players, Football Inc. Will definitely be in the spotlight. They're going to be honoring some players and some referees and people who made contributions, even some fans and so forth. They will give them their flowers once they are alive. But it will catch on. I believe it will catch on. And I believe, though, that the corporation probably just need to be a bit more visible, a bit more out there. And I think that
We are? What do you mean more out there? We are out there.
I said more. If you know, I said more. So when I say you are out there, but I'm saying more, because you really and truly want the communities now to know that you're vibrant and exactly what you're doing. And my suggestion was going to be, you can probably have a calendar of events, and something that can go on it is that every month you can probably have an activity in a different community.
Well, we have we have that because we were supposed to do a soccerama up at the turf, but I let them know I'm not going up there.
And why they want to go to the turf? This, and this is why I said be visible. Now, if you go to Pickett or to Param or to Liberta or to Old Road, now that would be in conjunction with the local football team and the community. So what they can do, you can say, look, this is what we are going to do. We're going to have a soccerama. You can organize 2 or 3 teams from the community. We will organize 2 or 3 teams to come in and whatever and so on. Everybody pay a fee. We can have a little contribution, or in a case like Old Road Waste Fence, you charge an entrance fee.
But
you can charge vendors to sell in there and so forth and so on.
Didn't we come by you? Didn't we have a conversation with you?
Yeah, but what I'm saying, Arlene, having a conversation is one, but putting something where you can look 8 months down the road and see, oh, they're going to Param in 8 months. In 7 months, they're coming to Liberta. So people will start, and after a while, people start maybe follow it around. People start to realize, look, these people are serious, and, you can even say to some business people, listen, we want to have a bank competition, only banks. Whether it's 5-a-side, 6-a-side, but you have to work in the bank. We don't care about the quality. We just want the bank to have some fun. We want the banks to sponsor it and, give a contribution to the, you can say to the hotels, look, we want to have a hotel soccerama. Your workers come and play and kick, to punch, whatever they face on, and have a good laugh and make it fun. Because the workers were glad for a little outing like that. You can also say, listen, we want to have a festival where we have past players. You have to be over 45. You're not going to have an over 45 league.
Right.
But just maybe an afternoon at maybe a particular venue. And, you get them out in the media and get the promotion out, get the media houses to sponsor some time and here. And just say, come and see what some of the names that you heard. Because there are a lot of young players, I can tell you, don't know who is Rexy Rose. Some of them don't know who is Trouble. Some of them don't know who is even Veron Edwards. And so just for them to come out, even and play for 5 minutes and, just to entertain. And because it's football, the football lovers of yesteryear who used to celebrate these players might probably come out, and then you can now make a big noise and say, this is why we have it, so that whenever someone gets into hard time or gets injured and so forth, we can step up and make some sort of a contribution towards the whole cause. I see you're taking some notes. I won't charge you. You know, what have you written down there, Arlene?
The month-to-month calendar, the bank competition, the hotel Soccerama, and the over 45.
Well, I basically just say over 45. It can be younger, it can be older. Because when I really, when I really want, really want somebody 60 and then somebody 40 come and push down people and them kind of. Because I've seen that in over masters competitions where the age is a little bit too young. I saw them just a couple of years ago. They had an over 40, but then they're saying 2 people can play who is 35. Now, if it is over 40, it is over 40.
Exactly.
You know, and so what actually happens is that some of the guys who were a little bit older were a little bit scared because some of the guys were too fast and too strong for them, and it really and truly was taking away the fun. It was really taking away the fun.
That league ever finish?
Which one?
The same over 40.
Well, I'm not sure. One of the things I am hoping, though, because I know that you have your mandate, but having your mandate is one. But I am just hoping that out of this, even if it is not your body that does it, that it can have a certain amount of influence on other individuals to have a player's representative or player's representation committee or body that each club must sign on to. And so whenever there's an issue, this body can sit with ABFA and have dialogue in terms of the rights of players. For instance, the insurance. That is something that they can take up and say, well, look, I know what would happen. I know what would happen. The association will pick off players and teams who they think are weak and try to get them to work around.
Flipper, a body shouldn't be put in place to hold ABFA for insurance. They charge you for insurance. So the presidents or executives of clubs or teams should hold the association accountable for that. You don't have to have a body, because every time there is registration, they tells you about insurance. So again, it's on the presidents or the executives of the clubs or teams, because all them teams aren't clubs. You have some are clubs and some are teams. So why aren't they not holding the association for not having no insurance when we are paying the insurance?
I'm going to say something, and then you're going to tell me if that's how it is or not. When these individuals that represent teams and clubs go to Football Association, whenever they speak from their perspective. How many times you are at a football association when you were there, or basketball association or netball association meeting, and someone comes in and says, listen, I don't think that's the best thing for my players. I don't think that's the direction you want to go for the players. I don't think. How many times can you recall that happening? On the five. And how many times can you recall people coming and say, oh, I don't support that. I don't think that. I.
For football, you what?
But when you look at it, you realize that whenever they make a decision, they don't make a decision on behalf of their team or their club. They make a decision on behalf of them, because they are the ones who want to be friends with the executive, get a free ticket to go to Premier, go up in some stand and drink some rum, and so forth. So this is why, Arlene, this is why I made the comment about getting a body to represent players, because the people that represent the teams and the clubs at the Football Association have no interest in the players' benefit.
Yeah, but again, getting a body to represent players, do the players want people to represent them?
Well,
because when I saw you that day outside alone with your, I see people pass laughing, I hear a little talking, I see it on social media. So do they want somebody to represent them?
At the end of the day, sometimes we have to look beyond today. Okay? I can remember when I was playing with the West Indies team, there was a players association, but most of the times the captain normally was the president, and they would try to negotiate for the players, and they would try to negotiate, and they didn't have any teeth because the players were representing themselves, and the board just said basically, look, take it or leave it. Okay? Then there came someone who was not playing that started representing the players. The players would pay a fee towards the association. They would hire a lawyer. And so now it is not the players that you're dealing with. It is the Players Association executive, which is now, and it made a big difference. I can remember in 1995, we toured England, and we were sponsored by Sandals, and the sponsorship deal was £400,000. Okay? The board wanted to give the players 40%, and they take 60%. And the players were arguing, said, no. Anyway, it came down to 50%. 50%. So it was split down the middle. Now, the board did nothing for Sandals. It was all the players. And eventually they agreed. And then they want to give the players, you're supposed to get now 200,000 pounds supposed to be shared up between the players, okay, for wearing sandals. And lo and behold, the board said that they're going to give the players 200,000 US. So then it was the first time that the players stood up and said, well, we're going to cover up Sandals. So they heard, and so Butch Stewart, who was then the owner of Sandals, intervened and said, no, you are giving the players 200,000 pounds. Now, after Ram Narayan took over the presidency of the Players Association, we saw the players getting real benefits. The board don't get sponsorship money anymore. All the sponsorship money goes to the players because they're the ones promoting the company. And a lot of things changed. They got better pay. They got better everything. They were bumped up. Every time they do a tour now, they fly business class. They got single rooms. And a lot of things happen once there was representation for the players independent of the territorial boards and the players themselves. So all the players did was to pay, and it could be something like that, where the players pay $20 a season, and you have somebody, maybe a lawyer and somebody who represent them, but they would have to sign an agreement and say, once the majority of the players are in favor, that's going to carry. So if they come back to the players and say, listen, we are not going to play unless the insurance is in this manner, that if you get injured, you get covered fully, and so we are not going to play unless the Football Association sign a document to suggest that once you are. So that is why I'm saying they need a body too.
Okay.
The other thing is that these players for today, sorry dear, may not see the need for it, but then we have to look about the future players. We have to make sure that we don't lose players because they got an injury in the Premier League, in the ABFA program, and there was nothing in place.
Please, yeah.
Also, this committee or this body will also represent the national players. What is it like when you represent the national team? Do you get allowance? Do you get pay? Or do you get allowance? Or what is it that they get in terms of when you go to represent Antigua?
A stipend.
Well, you see, and all of that, maybe the players are thinking that we can get more. But what if the body then negotiates and say, listen, you're paying the players $10 a day, we want it up to $30 a day. And if the association maybe discussing and dialoguing, when they sit down with and they see that there's a lawyer and there is somebody who knows about labor and that type of stuff, and then they may see maybe a past player or two who knows what the association, gets in terms of the FIFA funding and so on, then they cannot skirt around it. I think there have to be more benefits for the players. And I mean all of the associations. I remember one time we tried to form a players association for cricket. And the then president said to the players, don't form anything because we could just try to lead them astray. Wow. Now, players are so naive, and like you said, all they want to do is to play. They didn't look and weigh up the pros and the cons, because they won't lose if somebody's representing you. You're only there to gain, because somebody may say, listen, we think that the prize money should be more. So if a club wins, rather than paying them $7,000 for a 40 over competition, you pay them $70,000. So they can be significant. The body can also negotiate with the Football Association to maybe not give cash, but they can say, look, every year we want at least one club ground, get a little bit of facelift. Whether it's grade it off, roll it, get some soil, So at the end of the day, you can have some way of getting that team recognized, whether it's the most disciplined team, whether it's a team that you believe have the best, whatever the criteria is, but find a way so that you can tell the Football Association, this is the club that we're going to focus on this year to get a facelift about the grounds, and spending $10,000 a day, because there's funding for that, for infrastructure. There's funding for infrastructure. But the fact that nobody is pushing the buttons. The fact that the players don't care. All they want is the ball in the middle and the referee blow the whistle. But just remember, we as administrators have to find a lot of things to make the football happen in the community. And so if they're not going to support us, then we can say, well, you're on your own. Go and cut the field and mark the field and so forth. And they probably may just go to the neighboring village. But if all the clubs are standing together and say, we're not going to do anything if you're not going to come on board, then where are they going to go? What we need, Ali, in sports in Antigua and Barbuda is a revolution. We need some people standing up and forcing things to happen. We don't want it to be a war. We don't want it to be violent. But we want it to be forceful and demanding. I can see you with a placard.
Of course.
So that is why I saw that, and I know we strayed away a little bit from your group, but that is why I said that the type of people that you have in your group, we wouldn't want to put them wearing 3 and 4 hats, but they could probably influence, a couple of others to say, you know what, let us work together and see that we are now looking after the past players and so forth. So to stop our responsibilities from getting beyond where we can't control it, we need you now to represent the future and current players, yeah? So that there is something in place to assist with what we are doing. You understand? Because suppose a guy gets seriously injured when he's playing, and rather than don't play anymore and just don't look after the injury because he can't afford it, and then 5 years later when his knees can't hold up no more from the injury, you guys have to come up and find some money for him to go and do correctional surgery, when that could have been done 5 years ago by the ABFA insurance, and the monies that you guys would have spent on him would have probably gone to help someone who really needs it.
True.
So that is why I'm saying, working in collaboration with someone, in the long run, it will make things and make life easier for you. You probably wouldn't have to kill 8 pigs, you probably have to just kill 2.
Leave my pigs.
Yeah, it's a leadership pick. But the thing about it is that our guest who should have been here, well, we only have about 7 minutes remaining. He has pulled one on us because we wanted to really and truly look at association versus Ministry of Sports, and we're hoping that maybe next week we can ask him to come again. We definitely next week we're looking to get some more people in to look at what the sports policy really should entail. So over the weekend we can have a look, because I'm sure we can pull up a couple of sports policies from different countries and see how it's made up and see what it's like. Also, we can look at the sports council and see what function they do and how they are made up. Because I think going forward, it is going to be very critical. It is going to be very critical if we don't have regulations, for the associations, if we don't have a sports policy that governs sports in Antigua and Barbuda, and we don't have a sports council that enforce the policy, then Arlene, I tell you, we go get headache every time we come here because nothing's going to be organized, nothing's going to be regulated,
Sure.
And we're always going to find ourselves, discussing things. But what I want you to do for the people who are out there listening, because they are listening and they are watching, I can see it here, is to remind us again about what you're doing on the 7th of next month.
The 7th of December, the Past Players Foundation, Inc. will be having our first black tie affair honoring some past football players, administrators, referees, and fans. So I'm asking the public to source your tickets from myself, Steve Roy Demon Anthony, Fitzgerald Semper, who is the president, Wesley Simon, Gary Gonzalez, Ivor Luke. I can't remember all the other names, but you can link any one of us to get your tickets, and the tickets are only $130. The event will be at Sir Vivian Richards Stadium in the presidential suite. And trust me, the night will be a night that you will enjoy. Plenty food, plenty drinks, entertainment as well. So I'm looking forward to see past players, present players, and bring your other half with you.
Right? I see someone from Australia here is watching. Yeah, good morning down yonder.
Morning.
Yeah. Yes. It is morning in Australia. It's probably about 10:30
In the
Thursday morning.
Well, another time going back in the US, so we are an hour ahead of them right now.
Okay. Right, and so we just want people to support. Ali said she's gonna give me some tickets, so we're just urging people to come and support, and make this event the first of its kind, a grand event, so that we can all feel satisfied that we contributed to making sure that the past players and the people who require assistance can readily do so whenever that time comes. We don't know who is going to be. It could be someone really close to you. So it is very important that we support the Past Football Players Inc., as they call themselves. Come out, have a good time, have some pork, and definitely support this worthy cause.
I'm wondering if you're gonna take the pork as one of your...
Nope, no chance. I am a seafood man. I only eat anything out of the sea. Unless you didn't catch that pig in the sea, I'm definitely not having it. So we've come to the end of our time. I just want to say thanks to those who participated in any way or form, watched, listened, and just want to apologize on behalf of our supposed to be guest. He actually had sent a message here, just seeing that. Hopefully we'll have him some other time. But we have a weekend coming up early where we'll be researching about sports policies. Next week we want to focus on sports councils and sports policies, the importance of them, and what they should curtail in terms of what the makeup and the roles that the sports council should play, and how we put a sports policy together. So it's good night from Arlene, and good night from myself and our tech. We want to say thanks again, and we see you next week. Have a good weekend.